how to double your earnings and work less. Now that might sound like a little bit of a clickbaity title, but it just sounds too good to be true, right? But actually it's not. And I will illustrate this to you by telling you a story of a friend of mine who was a window cleaner. He found himself in a situation where he had far too much work, far too many inquiries coming in. He couldn't deal with the amount of work because basically he just had too many customers and he couldn't keep up with it all. And he wanted to be able to work less but earn the same amount. So he did something very simple one day. He decided to double his prices. That's right, double his prices overnight. What was the effect that this had on his business? Well, it's very interesting because what happened is, naturally, he got a few customers who said, sorry, I can't afford you anymore, and they cancelled. But actually, it wasn't that many. It was less than half, for example. So suddenly, he found himself earning double what he was earning before. He lost some customers, so he was able to work less, but earn more than double, essentially, what he was earning before. Now you might say, well, that's easy enough for a window cleaner, but how can you do that as an electrician? Well, okay, you might not want to double your prices, but you can raise your prices on a regular basis in order to be more selective about your customer base. And it's actually important to raise your prices on a regular basis anyway, in line with a few things. So number one, in line with inflation, because as time goes by, if you keep your prices the same, actually what's happening really is you're getting cheaper, because over time inflation means the cost of living goes higher. So £30 an hour, for example, after 10 years, is probably worth £15 or £20 an hour. So you need to bear that in mind, and really you should be regularly raising your prices, probably each year or every couple of years, just in order to keep up with inflation. But also you should be raising your prices because over time you gain experience. You're gaining a large customer base as well, which means that at some point you're going to get to saturation point where you have to decide whether you want to take on more people or whether you just have to start saying no to certain customers. Now, rather than saying no to customers, a great thing to do to just kind of level up your business and level up your earnings is just to raise your prices. And you might not double the prices, but you might basically put them up by 20%, for example, 25%. And that can make a huge difference to the amount of money you're earning and make not that much difference to actually the number of customers that you get. So raising your prices is a key strategy for any business, and you shouldn't be scared to do it. But how do you do it? See, a lot of electricians feel scared because they feel like they have to make this big dramatic announcement to their customers saying, just to let you know, we're raising our prices and we're charging £50 an hour, but now we're going to charge £75 an hour, for example. I hope this is not going to be too inconvenient for you, dear customer. And then you have to explain yourself to the customer of why you're raising your prices and all that stuff. But guess what? You don't need to do all that. Most customers won't even notice if you put your prices up. Really, they won't. It's as simple as that. And for new customers who come on board, you might just seem a bit more expensive than what they were expecting. But if you've got a great reputation out there, probably they're not going to care anyway because they want your services. So actually you get to the point where after a while, you can pretty much charge what you want. If you're too expensive to a customer, they'll say no, but that's fine. They are not your target customer. People say no, and you want customers who can afford your prices at the end of the day. And as you raise your prices, you'll find something interesting starts to happen. You will find that the caliber of your customers starts to get higher and higher. You'll get better quality of customers. You could get to the point where you work half as much, but you earn the same as what you were earning before. Or you can work the same amount as you were before, but earn double. Really, it depends on what you want to do. But When you raise your prices, you filter out certain customers who are only looking for cheap prices, and that can level up the type of customer that you receive. Now, if you do double your prices and you still can't keep up with the number of inquiries and jobs that you're getting, then you can take on more people to help, but knowing that even when you have to pay their wages and your overheads increase, you'll still be able to make a good profit on all the jobs that they do for you. So either way, it's a win-win really to raise your prices. So this is the lesson from this episode. The lesson right here is never be scared to raise your prices at the appropriate time. And the appropriate time might just be it's due because you haven't raised your prices for a while. It's time to review your prices now because you feel like maybe you're getting a bit cheap. Maybe your business costs have increased, so you need to raise your prices for that. Or it could be that you just want to cut down your customer base and just keep the best customers, and raising your price is a way of doing that and just sifting out all the rubbish customers that don't like paying and just keeping the really good customers who want you. They love your service, they don't mind paying a bit extra for it. So raising prices is an absolute key lesson. You shouldn't be scared of it. But don't make a big song and dance about it. Just do it. Just one day, instead of charging £70 an hour, charge £80 an hour. Or instead of charging £50 an hour, charge £75 an hour. Or instead of charging £30 an hour, charge £60 an hour, and just see what effect it has on your business. You will be amazed at the impact that it has in a positive way on your profit margins and the reduced stress that comes from not having to chase so much work.